a miraculous way to lose weight. No, not diet and exercise, silly. Drugs! Trump and Biden's enemies try eliminating them. Considering their ages, pretty sure gravity and cholesterol could do that. And did going woke make Disney go broke? They may have to go from the haunted mansion to the haunted studio apartment. That and more on this week's headlines. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. The Virginia Department of Health is warning citizens about a rise in alpha-gal syndrome. It's spread through tick bites, specifically the Lone Star tick, which is common in Virginia. Alpha-gal syndrome causes your body to become allergic to meat, and symptoms include stomach pains, headache, and potentially even death. Man, these are the creepiest ticks I've seen since the facial tics Ron DeSantis gets every time he tries to smile like a human being. Just keep practicing in the mirror, Ron. You've almost got it. I never believed in lizard people before, but DeSantis is convincing me. Speaking of Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor is pledging $1 million to a historically black Jacksonville college to increase security after a white gunman attempted to enter the facility before murdering 3 black people at a nearby Dollar General. Which seems like an odd response, since the security they had apparently already worked. Maybe they should up the security at the Dollar General. DeSantis attended a vigil held for the victims where he was loudly booed. Except for when he called the attacker a scumbag, then he received some applause. The crowd is a fickle creature. But the shooting wasn't the only emergency in Florida. Florida also had to deal with Hurricane Idalia, which made landfall on the state's Gulf Coast as a Category 3 hurricane. It caused massive flooding and left 270,000 residents without power. DeSantis actually left the presidential campaign trail to address the crises affecting his state. He's abandoning his interests to attend to those he swore to protect? Man, that's not presidential at all. He should learn from President Biden. Everyone knows in a crisis, elected leaders are supposed to relax and ignore the situation, and only begrudgingly go visit the disaster site after receiving massive backlash. Then while you're there, make a bunch of bad jokes. Ooh, tough crowd. Come on, man. The diabetes drug Ozempic has become a popular weight loss method, as it can help people lose up to 15% of their body weight in under 16 months. Demand for Ozempic and similar medications has become so high, it's altering the economy of Denmark where it's produced. One reason it's become so popular is due to several celebrities admitting to using it. And as you know, if a celebrity is doing it, it's always a good idea. The next time the hotel cleaning staff complains about the mess you left on the bed, you just say, if it's good enough for Amber Heard, it's good enough for me. Ozempic was approved in 2017 by the FDA for use in adults with type 2 diabetes. Weight loss is a common side effect, as the drug works by mimicking a hormone that slows the digestion process and tells your brain it's full. Ozempic hasn't been approved by the FDA for weight loss, but some doctors are prescribing it for that sole purpose. Instead of just diet and exercise. It's like going to Claire's and they say the best way to pierce your ear is with a .44 Magnum. The primary drug found in Ozempic and other similar medications is semaglutide. There are still a lot of unknowns about semaglutide, but scientists are setting up clinical trials, hoping that it could also help in treating dementia and addiction, specifically to alcohol. However, the side effects of Ozempic aren't entirely known, with some users claiming they've developed incurable stomach conditions after using the drug. And fake Ozempic is flooding social media, with dangerous side effects on those who take it. Word to the wise? Assume everything on social media is fake. The business offers, the advertisements, and if some random sexy lady says she wants to be your girlfriend but needs you to send her money, go for it. That's probably the one exception. Why let paranoia get in the way of true love? With a stock model, no less. What are the odds? And after the break, the Pope criticizes American Catholics. Welcome back. I'm tired of talking about politics. Let's discuss something that isn't so divisive. Religion. Pope Francis criticized American Catholics, specifically conservatives, who he says are replacing religious faith with their political ideology, which is rich coming from a pope who flirts with Marxist-influenced liberation theology. Francis made these remarks in response to American Catholics being upset with him for tackling what they feel to be social justice issues, including LGBT outreach and climate change. The Pope said, "I want to remind these people that backwardness is useless and they must understand that there's a correct evolution in the understanding of questions of faith and morals." Did the Pope just mention evolution? Man, the church really has become progressive. if you ignore all their abuse scandals, which they largely do too. While the Pope singles out conservatives, many feel that Democrats also want to replace God with their political ideology. And there's only one solution here. We need to combine politics with religion and be ruled by a benevolent God emperor. And no, that's not a plug for Trump. I nominate myself. I'd be perfect, obviously, since I'm so humble. Speaking of politics of getting in the way of things, Trump pleaded not guilty in the Georgia election subversion case, his fourth indictment. And a trial date for his third indictment, where he's accused of plotting to overturn the 2020 election results, has been set for March 4th, 2024. This is the night before the Super Tuesday primary elections. Oh man, that means Trump might miss Taco Tuesday, which would be a bummer for him since he loves tacos. Oh, and also the biggest election day of the primaries. Judge Tanya Chutkan, who is known for handing down harsher than recommended January 6 sentences, justified this trial date, saying, "I want to note here that setting a trial date does not depend and should not depend on the defendant's personal or professional obligations. Given the size and scope of these accusations and the mountains of evidence to sift through, Trump and his legal team wanted the trial to be set for April of 2026. Special counsel Jack Smith wanted the trial to be set in January 2024. So one side wanted to drag it out and delay it as long as possible, and the other seemingly wants to rush to trial faster than a panicking first-time father driving his wife to the hospital when she's only 6 weeks pregnant. Feels like they're jumping the gun a little bit. Many are accusing this entire case of being politically motivated and an attempt to hurt Trump's chance of winning the presidential election. Given the very specific trial date chosen, it's hard not to see where people might get this idea, which is very upsetting. And I'm not talking about the alleged weaponization of the Department of Justice. I'm talking about how the Sixth Amendment guarantees the right to a speedy trial. And according to the McKinney law firm in San Antonio, Texas, in federal court it is pretty routine to have a case set for a trial within 12 to 18 months of filing. And they tried to get Trump's in only 5? Another instance of the rich and powerful getting preferential treatment in America. If that wasn't enough, some are arguing that Trump should be disqualified from running at all, citing a clause in Section 3 of the 14th Amendment barring anyone who has engaged in insurrection or rebellion from holding office. A Florida lawyer filed a legal challenge over this, trying to disqualify Trump from running. Yes, this lawyer is from Florida, the home state of one of Trump's biggest rivals, Ron DeSantis. It might just be a coincidence, but it seems a little shady. That'd be like if a legal challenge was made against Trump from Mike Pence's home state of Snake Mountain. It seems like Democrats and even some Republicans are doing everything they can to keep Trump from becoming president again. If the rushed criminal cases and invoking of the 14th Amendment fail, I wouldn't be surprised to see people trying to catch Trump by placing McDonald's, hairspray, and self-tanning lotion under a box propped up with a stick. This is the only way he can be stopped. Democrats aren't the only ones trying to wrestle power away from political rivals. Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy says that based on information gathered by the Republican-led House Oversight Committee, an impeachment inquiry is a natural step forward. Ah yes, steps forward, Biden's natural enemy. According to CNN, McCarthy has told Republicans he hopes to start the impeachment inquiry process at the end of September. But how he'll do it remains unknown. After all, not all House Republicans are on board with the idea, as many see it as politically risky. And it is. With his numbers, gaffes, and headlines, the Republican Party should think of Biden as a political asset. And after the break, Tesla faces lawsuits for autopilot fatalities. Welcome back. Tesla will soon face 2 trials over allegations that failures in its vehicle's autopilot driver assistant feature led to 2 fatal crashes. Lawyers for the plaintiffs said Elon Musk has acknowledged problems with the Tesla autopilot system not working properly. But Tesla denies responsibility for the crashes, insisting that autopilot is safe, but drivers need to pay attention to the road and keep their hands on the steering wheel while it's engaged. The company says there are no self-driving cars on the road today. Tesla doesn't self-drive, but apparently it self-owns. Their argument is basically they should have known we aren't competent enough to have self-driving vehicles yet. No matter how much Elon wants and keeps failing to get them to work. That's like defending yourself against an assault and battery charge by saying, everyone can plainly see I'm too frail and weak to hurt anyone, Your Honor. Case dismissed. Speaking of things that are growing weaker, Mitch McConnell, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, I repeat, this guy is a high-ranking decision-maker in America, froze again while speaking at a news conference, appearing disoriented for several moments. It's truly tragic this is happening during the Hollywood writers and actors strike, because that means studios are too preoccupied to hear my pitch for a sitcom reboot starring McConnell. Different strokes. Disney stocks are at its lowest point since 2014. While other big media companies have had their stocks drop over the years, Disney has seen declines in virtually every facet of their business. Their stocks are so low that if they were in a geographic location, they'd be under the sea, under the sea. Disney says it's due primarily to losing Disney Plus subscribers and the decline of traditional TV. That's right, it's not due to decisions made by the company, it's due to the changing times. While other streaming services lost subscribers as well, Disney lost way more than any other platform, with a record 11.7 million users worldwide canceling their subscriptions. The vast majority of these cancellations came from India, where Disney lost the rights to a popular cricket league. Apparently, Jiminy Cricket wasn't enough to keep those viewers. Coincidentally, Disney will be raising the price of Disney Plus subscriptions and cracking down on password sharing. Disney CEO Bob Iger explains, "We grew this business really fast before we really understood what our pricing strategy should be or could be. Because the best thing Disney could possibly do in the midst of lost subscribers is charge more. That'll bring them back." As if lost subscribers weren't bad enough, Disney's theme parks saw a decline in visitors over the usually busy summer months. And they're now offering discounts for Christmas, showing they expect to see a decline later in the year as well. If profits keep slipping, to make extra money, Cinderella might have to turn her castle into an Airbnb. When you wish upon a 5-star review. Yeah, I have a flawless singing voice. I never bring it up since, like I said, I'm so humble. So what's really causing Disney's financial troubles? Many point to Disney's promotion of woke ideas in their media turning viewers off. Disney's last 8 feature film releases have either underperformed or flopped, resulting in a loss of $900 million for the studio. Mickey really lost his shirt on those flicks, which is astonishing since he never even had a shirt to begin with. So the progressive narratives shoehorned into Disney films are turning off the right. But I don't think they're helping attract the left either, because while they may try to portray themselves one way, it's not very woke for Bob Iger to say that writers and actors are not being realistic when they strike to earn a livable wage and job security, and that it's disturbing. It also isn't very woke that Marvel, owned by Disney, underpays its visual effects artists and forces them to work long hours under terrible conditions. Although I guess that's technically woke since Marvel VFX workers never get to sleep. That's why they're currently voting to unionize, with the final count expected on September 12th. But good luck, since Disney has been accused by former workers of using union-busting techniques. Considering all that, Disney portraying itself as woke is like Elton John trying to lead a straight pride parade, which would be ridiculous since, you just got out of the hospital after suffering a fall. Leading a parade is way too much work for someone who needs his rest. So for now, Disney's trying to put on a brave smile to let their stockholders know everything's going to be okay. It's just not especially reassuring since their smile is as natural as Ron DeSantis's. Hey, that's something these two have in common. Maybe they can finally start fighting already. But speaking of companies pandering to the left and it going horribly wrong, here's a video where I cover Target and how their LGBTQ promotion led to backlash from the LGBTQ community. Now, if you want to make sure we can keep making episodes like this, click that orange button to support us on Patreon. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.